When the new season of Gold Rush started, fans wondered what happened to Rick Ness. He was nowhere to be found, and that led to the second episode of the season, where Z went to find out where his friend was. What he found was a dejected Rick Ness. He asked what was wrong, and Rick said it was a mixture of depression, possibly stemming from the unresolved death of his mother. He also had a condition known as seasonal affective disorder. The second episode of Gold Rush this season saw Z heading to Rick Ness' home for a welfare check. When Rick answered the door, he looked tired and a bit disheveled. He invited Z into the garage where he was working on a car to talk. That is when Z asked why he was here instead of with his crew mining gold. Rick said he had been asking himself the same thing. Why was he at home and not working with the people who depended on him? He said that the off-season always includes lots of sleep and recovery. Yet this time, he wasn't able to get in the mode to return. He said part of it was depression, but also part was a diagnosis called seasonal affective disorder. The depression arrived after his mother died. Rick told Z he still had his mother's house, but hadn't been there since her death. It sounds like he still has to work through that. Sadly, he has to deal with his seasonal affective disorder first. According to the Mayo Clinic, seasonal affective disorder, SAD, is a type of depression that is related to the change of seasons. It usually starts and ends at the same time each year. The signs of SAD include sapping of energy and making a person feel moodier. While most seasonal affective disorder cases take place in the fall and winter, for Rick, it lined up with the winding down of his season for his work mining gold. The symptoms include feeling listless or sad every day, losing interest in things a person usually loves, low energy, and feelings of hopelessness or worthlessness. It is important for someone like Rick Ness to work through this regardless of what other people might think about this sort of diagnosis. There is also the case of seasonal affective disorder being at an increased risk for people afflicted with bipolar disorder. This can add agitation, anxiety, and irritability to their personalities. It is important to see a doctor during this time. From what Rick said, it sounds like he has done so. Do you think Rick Ness will return to mining this season on Gold Rush? Is the show even the same without him? Let us know in the comments below. Sean Esililos has been a freelance writer for over 25 years and is a voting member of the Oklahoma Film Critics Circle. He is also a published author with a book about the Stephen King Dollar Baby filmmakers. Rick Ness on Gold Rush. What is seasonal affective disorder? Rick Ness, the well-known star of Gold Rush, has always been a larger-than-life character on the Discovery Channel show, known for his hard work, determination, and grit in the Alaskan wilderness. As a gold miner, he is no stranger to the tough, often grueling environment that comes with working in the frozen tundra. But, beyond the cold temperatures and the taxing work, Ness has also opened up about the emotional toll of working in such an environment. He's been transparent about the mental health struggles that come with the extended winter months, a topic that is more relevant than ever as awareness of seasonal affective disorder, SAD, continues to grow. For viewers of Gold Rush, Rick Ness's personal journey serves as a reminder that even those who seem tough and invincible, working in some of the most remote and physically demanding locations on Earth, can be affected by mental health challenges, particularly those that are tied to seasonal changes. In this article, we'll explore what seasonal affective disorder is, how it affects people like Rick, and how it relates to the experiences of those who work in the harsh conditions seen on Gold Rush. What is seasonal affective disorder? Seasonal affective disorder, SAD, is a type of depression that occurs at a specific time of year, typically during the fall and winter months. While everyone might feel a bit more sluggish or down during the darker, colder seasons for those with SAD, the symptoms are more intense and long-lasting. According to the American Psychiatric Association, SAD affects an estimated 5% of adults in the United States, with women being more likely to experience it than men. SAD can affect people in varying degrees, ranging from mild, temporary feelings of sadness to more severe forms of depression. The symptoms of SAD include low energy, a feeling of constant tiredness, even after a full night's sleep, difficulty concentrating, mental fogginess or a lack of focus, changes in sleep patterns, oversleeping or insomnia, weight changes. Some people experience cravings for carbohydrates, leading to weight gain, while others lose interest in food. Irritability, a sense of frustration or irritability, a pervasive sense that things won't improve, leading to a negative outlook on life. Withdrawal from social activities, avoidance of social engagements, often resulting in isolation. The underlying cause of SAD is believed to be linked to the body's circadian rhythm, which is controlled by the amount of sunlight we receive. As daylight hours decrease, particularly in areas farther from the equator, the body's production of serotonin, a neurotransmitter that influences mood, decreases, while melatonin, a hormone responsible for regulating sleep, increases. This shift in hormonal balance can lead to the symptoms of depression, especially for individuals who are predisposed to mental health conditions like depression or anxiety. The Alaskan environment and its toll. Rick Ness's work on Gold Rush takes place in the unforgiving landscapes of Alaska, where the sun can disappear for weeks or months at a time, particularly in the more northern regions. This constant exposure to darkness, extreme cold, and isolation can be a perfect storm for someone susceptible to SAD. For many people who work in remote or extreme environments, whether they're miners, construction workers, or people in other outdoor trades, winter months can feel isolating, even suffocating. When Rick opened up about his struggles with mental health, particularly during the colder months, he was speaking to a universal truth. Winter can be emotionally taxing, especially for people who spend extended periods outside, in harsh conditions. In a place like Alaska, the days are not just short. They can be almost non-existent in the depths of winter. These extended periods of darkness and cold, combined with the grueling physical work that Rick and his team do, can have a significant impact on mental well-being. Alaska is notorious for its long winters, where daylight hours can dip below 4 or 5 hours a day, and temperatures can reach as low as -30 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. This means the people who live and work in these conditions, particularly those in mining and similar industries, face the challenge of spending long stretches of time outdoors, often with limited access to social interaction and community. For individuals prone to seasonal affective disorder, these environmental factors can exacerbate feelings of depression or loneliness. Rick Ness. A personal struggle throughout his years on Gold Rush, Rick Ness has often presented himself as someone with a tough exterior, facing down dangerous terrain, machinery malfunctions, and the grueling physical demands of gold mining. But behind the scenes, he has also struggled with the pressures that come with such an environment, including the isolation and emotional challenges of working in Alaska's extreme winters. Ness has been open about how the mental side of the job can be as taxing as the physical side. When you're out there in the middle of nowhere, you don't have the luxury of distraction, he explained in a candid interview. You can't just go for a walk, or take a day off and hang out with friends. You're stuck in a remote area, often with little to do but focus on the task at hand. Such conditions naturally lend themselves to the experience of SAD. With limited access to sunlight and the harsh realities of working outdoors, many people in these environments struggle to maintain their mental health. Rick himself admitted that his time on the show has sometimes made him feel a sense of loneliness, especially when faced with long, dark winters. It's tough out there, he said. You're always running on fumes, and the days get shorter. You're literally working in the dark sometimes. It messes with you mentally. The fact that Rick has shared his struggles with SAD openly is significant, as it helps to reduce the stigma around mental health, particularly in tough, high-pressure work environments. By speaking about his experience, he not only helps viewers understand the toll of the work, but also gives others the permission to acknowledge their own mental health challenges. Why does seasonal affective disorder affect people in remote work environments? The impact of SAD is not just a result of the weather, but also the environmental isolation experienced by those who live and work in remote areas. For Rick Ness and his crew, the season is not just about the physical demands of gold mining. It's also about the mental strain that can come from prolonged isolation and the absence of a social support system. When you work in isolated environments, far from family, friends, or the general comforts of society, the impact of SAD can be much more pronounced. In Alaska, the dark winters often mean people have fewer opportunities for meaningful social interaction. In an ordinary urban environment, people can seek out activities or relationships to help offset feelings of loneliness or sadness. In contrast, those working in isolated regions, like the ones seen on Gold Rush, might have limited contact with others, especially